Good evening, backgammon fans. This is Bill Riles and Tar Mendocino with Ace Point Backgammon. We're currently in the middle of our 2021 online Texas Backgammon Championships. And tonight we have a great match. It's the final of the Malcolm Davis Longhorn Classic Masters Championship. Our two players are from Dallas, Texas, Rudy Longenbach, who doesn't play in that many ABT events. He's played in some, but I'll assure you he's quite the competent player. And then his opponent from Charlottesville, Virginia, whom many of us know very well, Roberto Litzenberger, very competent player from here in the United States. Now they had this was an excellent, very strong field. Rudy defeated along the way Boris Dektiar of New York City, Michael Neagu of Montreal, who's one of the hottest guys in the world right now, and Ray Fogerlund from Las Vegas. Roberto had an even perhaps tougher path in that he beat Chris Trencher from New York. He then beat Albert Stegg from Boston, who's playing extremely well nowadays. And he beat Amir Gogolab from Iran, who, depending on who you talk to, is the best player in Iran or perhaps the second best player in Iran. But extremely strong player, and Roberto bested him 13-11 this afternoon. So it brings us to this match tonight. So we're looking forward to it. It's a 13-point match. I don't profess to be a grandmaster or anything. I'm a competent player. I know these guys well. So perhaps we can, not analyze it terribly, but predict a bit of what they're doing, explain a bit of what they're doing, maybe pass along some personal insights related to the players, and just have a good match, have fun watching it, and hopefully y'all will enjoy it. I have, at times when we perhaps have a bit of a delay or something, I have my trusty laptop with XG on it right here that hopefully I may have the opportunity to put in a few positions during the match and give us some feedback on that. So the guys are trying to set up the table now, and the match should begin very soon. We're quite excited. This weekend was kind of a rollout for us in our Ace Point Backgammon website, our automated registration and tournament management system. It's worked quite well. It's so efficient and seamless for the players. I think everyone's really been impressed, not only by the function of it, but the appearance of it. And we're going to be hosting a number of tournaments going forward, and we'll hope y'all will check us out. So we look forward to that. There's also an Ace Point Backgammon APBG shop where we're selling backgammon accessories and so forth, and you might visit that as well. So I guess it looks like Rudy has a table set up. He's waiting for Roberto to join him, and then we'll pick up the match. So should be. Which gives him some initial advantage in this particular game. He's debating whether to hit on Rudy's 9 or just, he brings them both out. Okay. Here we go. What do we got? Roberto considers he's already in a very strong position, and Rudy lets that point go. So we'll start again. 5-2 standard opening for Roberto. Just, it's interesting how the first 2 or 3 rolls of many of these games kind of set the stage for the entire game. Standard openings, an early error in a opening position, opening roll might, cast a lot for the whole game. But here we go. Rudy made that ace point with a double six, which a lot of people sometimes this early on don't like to bury the checkers. But he gets the 3-1 behind it, which gives him the 3-point board. 4-2 for Roberto. He already has the 4 points, so it gets him some options and choices as to what to do with the 4-2 now. 3-3, interesting roll. He can hit the checker in Roberto's outfield and maintain his midpoint, but he goes for more of a blitzing type position. 4-1 by Roberto, which derails that blitz a bit. 2-6, so Rudy tries to keep the pressure on. Roberto replies in kind again, hitting the slot on the 4. So I think obviously the hit is correct, and it's which deuces Roberto choose to play from there. He plays 8-6, which gives him a bit more of a building structure. Rudy, the double aces, which are an interesting roll. I suspect he'd make the 5-point hitting, yes. Okay, again, Roberto in another strong position, and Rudy gives him another point early on, not wanting to put big cubes in play from relatively strong positions for Roberto. So it's 2-0 to 13. 3-1 for Roberto, makes that 5-point. So again, he's getting some early positional advantages in these games. Roberto, double deuces. He'll make the 4, probably bring him down to the 11. But he shifts, makes the deuces and shifts, gets a dance. So he's in another commanding early position here. Certainly another dance will throw the cube out again, but a 5-6, Rudy perhaps avoids it at this point. 3-1 for Roberto. Again, he's probably going to try to strengthen his board slotting on the 5, so I expect 24 and 5. He wasn't in the air. I apologize. He makes the 5. 4-point boards, very strong position. So once again, third game in a row, Roberto's developed an early strong position. Rudy's in a bit of a defensive stance, and the double three for Roberto makes that. Now here's a shot for Roberto with his 5' over here on this side. So very likely and possibly see the cube coming back at Rudy here, and it's going to be a 3-0 game, I suspect, or a 3-0 match, I suspect. Roberto chooses to play on with the blot. Okay, so he's again a very commanding position. His decision is whether to play on or just cash it at this point. He's playing on. Double nickels makes the deuce, and it's going to have a 5-point board. So perhaps certainly the 1-game rollout shows a good decision to play on. Very likely to get the gammon here and go up 4-0. Dancing on. So unless something really strange happens here, this is just going to be a relatively easy gammon for Roberto. Here he can close it out if he chooses to do so at this point and just play it on home. Now these guys are playing, again, this is the Malcolm Davis Longhorn Classic Masters jackpot. And the trophy is one of the more recognizable trophies in the backgammon, certainly in the States, perhaps in the world. It's a bronze Texas Longhorn steer figurine. And this is the 9th tournament featuring that. And you know, what a list of winners we've had. Perhaps I'll remember them all. Arcady Sinise, Alfred Mamlet, Ed O'Loughlin, Mochi, Michi, Steve Sachs, Bob Glass, and last year Victor Ashkenazi. So the winner of this is going to join an incredibly select group of stellar players who have won this Longhorn trophy.
Can I get the trophy? Do you know what it is?
Okay.
Where is it?
Behind my desk.
Okay.
So let's see. Here we go. Rudy's in dire straits. The 4-1 could give him a potential of a shot, but just looks like a relatively straightforward gammon. He dances. There is the shot, so perhaps he can salvage some play here. He doesn't hit, so it's going to be a 4-0 match for Roberto at the moment. Just play this one on out. Ever so slight chance that Rudy could save the gammon, but I doubt it, and the chances are getting slimmer all the time. So 2 rolled 6-3. He could still do it with a set of 6s. Doesn't get them. 4-0 Roberto. So commanding early lead, but you know, a 13-point match is a long match. Anything can happen. No time to panic, and I think Rudy's the type of player that well realizes that. So again, it's a nice couple of early rolls for each, and building a little structure. 4-1. Rudy has escaped with 1 checker, so he perhaps has an ever so slight advantage. But you know, this one's pretty even at the moment. Roberto's gonna have to break those back ones and hope to escape one of them here one of these moments. Check the messages on Neil and Shikori. Tar just brought me from the other room here. Here is the actual bronze Longhorn figurine that will go to the winner. Let me hold it maybe in front of me in some fashion. You can see it a little bit better. But it's yeah, it's what, 8 inches, 10 inches long, bronze figurine. It's really a neat trophy, very distinctive, and you know, all the people that have them really appreciate them, and the ones that don't have them would like to get one. So tonight, either Rudy Longenbach or Roberto Litzenberger will become the owner of the latest Longhorn steer. So again, it's kind of interesting. Both of them pretty well structured here. Roberto has the 2 checkers trapped back at the moment. So you know, what does he do here? I think he's got to step up. He shifts, which many people would, in my opinion, not like to shift off the 6, would maybe make another play, but he gets a dance out of Rudy, so he's in you know, he's in really pretty good shape as a result of that play and the subsequent roll. Now the 2-5. Now Roberto's got to make a decision. Does he come on out? He does come out. He's got to get those checkers moving. Rudy dances again.
Yeah, he's in New York. 3-4-7.
6-5. So how do we play that? He's still got that last guy in the back that he can't move yet. He needs to get it moving. And with that 6-point void, Rudy has some opportunities if he can roll a 6 at some point here. How does Roberto play this? Maybe 10-4 and make the 9-point? Kind of buttons everything up. Reduces the returns that might get Rudy back into this game. Roberto's spending a fair amount of time on this play, and it is a critical play early in the game. Okay, Rudy gets the 1-3, which enters, but the 3 is a little problematic. Does he slot the 4? Does he step up from the 10? He steps up from the 10. Roberto still can't move the guy in the back. He's at a little bit, he can't make a point. He's going to have to leave at least an indirect at some point here with this roll. So it's, maybe Rudy can get back into this game. He slots on the ace. Rudy, tired of falling behind here, he rolls the cubes. Relatively easy take for Roberto, I think, and Rudy rolls an ace to hit the blot and get back into the game. So this one's going to be interesting. 4-2. Roberto comes in and hits the blot. 5-1. Here we go. Okay, 5-4 is mediocre roll for Roberto. It's not terrible. It doesn't do any really great things that he had hoped that he would get from this roll. And Rudy's got a lot of ammo over there to try to make a 5' in front of that back checker, and there he gets it. And Roberto's one back from that 5'. He's got kind of a gap structure here and on this side. So I think Roberto's pretty glad that the cube's not in the middle or on Rudy's side at this point. 1-6. Joker roll for Roberto to get that guy out, although he could make the deuce, but I think he's got to get that guy out sooner or later, and there it goes. 6-3. He can't move the back checker, so he's going to make the deuce, I suspect. So the 1-6 was just a killer roll for Roberto, and see where we go. He's going to bring that guy around the corner so that no direct shots. 4-6 for Rudy. Can't make it work. So perhaps he just keeps it back there and tries to do a little fabrication of a board on his side. He's got a decent board started. He runs with it. It's an even race. Let's see what happens. Roberto breaks all contact, so it's just a dice rolling game now. 4 pip lead for Roberto. He's going to make the 6-point with these two, bring them in. 3-1, same thing for Rudy. He's still 6 back. Rudy needs a decent roll or two to catch up here. What's that going to be? 82, 6 pips. Not too far from. It's not a great roll, but it's not but a roll or so away from Roberto being able to send this back, unless Rudy gets some, gets a decent roll or two, and there is the decent roll. So now he's got the 8 pip lead. Now that closes it to even. Neither has extremely good distribution, so we'll see what the dice give us here. It's strictly a rolling game, and of course the probabilities of such that relate to the cube. Roberto holds the cube, so he has that advantage at this point, but he's not rolling particularly well. Rudy's got an advantage, 14 pip lead. Roberto's only taken off one at a time. There's the 6s. That's the game. So it's 4-2. Rudy's, repelled that early onslaught and avoided the 6-0 deficit by making it 4-2. So shaping up as we might have a good game here. Opening 3-1's standard roll, standard move, standard reply. Now here we go. There's several different possibilities here, none of them particularly obvious. He runs double deuces, which is perhaps the best roll he could have at this position. He's going to hit, he's going to make the 4, then he decides on the second deuce. There. Roberto seems to hit everything Rudy slats with at this point. Going to make the bar. He's got a broken 6-point. (5-2). I think he's got to step up at least to the 4 and make the point. He goes for the double tiger type play of hitting 2 in his board. But with those 3 behind a broken 5-point, he's really at a disadvantage, I think. Here comes some company for those 3 with the 4th checker going back. But double 5 helps a bit, but he's still in not the best position there. Roberto's going to try to cash it, and he does. So 5-2. Rudy never had much to work with there. Roberto had a couple of early good rolls with a double 2 and so forth. And here we go. 5-2 Roberto. Roberto gets the 6-5 obvious play. 4-3 standard play. 4-2 for the point. 4-2 in return, but he's got 1 in the air, so he can't make the point, but he does cover the 9. Okay, how's Roberto going to play this? Probably, I suspect, 11 and 23. Comes to 11-10, though. The 6-2 is blocked from the hit, so he makes the bar. 6-3 makes the bar for Roberto, unless he chooses to run. I would be tempted to make the bar personally, and he does. Again, a little bit of awkwardness for Rudy here. Not a really good roll. He hits on the ace, takes a half a roll away from Roberto, maybe breaks the momentum a bit, but you know, a lot of people don't like to bury that checker. 4s, again, positional, great advantage for Roberto. Now, does he strip his mid to make the 9? No, he slats on the 5, which is probably better. Here comes the cube again. You know, this sort of series of games really takes a lot of discipline from a player to, you know, you kind of get in this position like, geez, I'm going to have to stop the bleeding at some point. You know, I've got to take something somewhere. But takes a lot of discipline to keep turning them down when they're going against you. But, you know, Rudy exercises that discipline, and we're 6-2 Roberto. So here we go. A bit of an odd play with the 4-2, making the point rather than hitting on the bar, perhaps. Roberto gets the nice double 4, which will make the 10, and I suspect he maybe makes the 9 as well. Yeah, so, you know, a nice broken 5 prime there. Comes down with 2. Roberto hits him again, and here we go. Same book, second or like 5th chapter here. It seems like every one of these games has been about the same. But you know, Rudy gets lucky with a dance by Roberto, another dance by Roberto. So maybe things are changing course a little bit. 6-4. He doesn't want to break everything up. He's just gonna have to run with it 1 checker. 3s. You know, 1's in. What's the other? Where does he play the other 3 of them? I suspect most people would play the 5 double 6s. So here he comes out. It's just a question of where the the fourth 6 goes, 2 goes to the 18, and he runs it to the 2. Some people would have went to the 7 and 8 and leaving the blot on the 13. Double 6 in reply, so there goes that advantage Rudy had gained, and now he's down 19 pips. Yeah, 6-4 is a nice roll in reply. He's going to cover in slot. 5-1, probably slot the 4. Although it leaves him exposed, he slots twice. 5-1. Does he strip the 2 outside points, or does he make the ace and go to the 5? He saves 1 on the outside. 6-3, taking him off the 18. 6-2. So we've got a kind of a holding standoff game, a very typical game. Who's going to have the timing to last out on this? Okay, Roberto's got to play the 2 from the 10, so now it's purely a standoff game. 6-1. Rudy's got a little bit of timing, so if Roberto rolls a 6 here, then there's decisions to be made. There's the 6, so what's the count? He can't double this. He's 23 behind. Roberto's 19 up. 1, he'd have to roll something where he can't get past, and Rudy would then have to hit it. So it's down in the probably 15% range, maybe 20%. So I suspect we're going to see a drop here. It's too early to be giving away free points. Yeah, there he gets by, and now he's just going to bring this home. So I suspect that was a drop. I wouldn't swear to it, but I think it's comparatively early in the match, and I just wouldn't have wanted to give him the extra point. It's only a 13-point match, so now it's going to be 8-2, 5 away, 11 away. So it's kind of getting away from Rudy here. Hope y'all don't mind. I'm wearing a cap today. I've got a little bit of the quarantine hair going here, and keep it under control. I threw on a hat, but I'm calling out to my good buddy Artifen Glue with my Merit Open hat. So one of the best tournaments in the world. We sorely missed it this year, this past November. Hopefully things will be such that we can return next year. So here we are, 8-2. It's a pretty commanding lead now for Roberto. Things are, really needs to have the opportunity to make something happen. It's hard to make something happen if you don't get the rolls that give you the opportunity to make it happen. And man, it just seems like the avalanche keeps coming down here. Nice set of 4s for Roberto. With the big lead, of course, Roberto's going to likely tend to be a bit more conservative. You don't want to put a big cube or, initiate a cube and maybe get a big one back when you've got a big lead. So Roberto's going to play a little bit more conservatively, I suspect, and Rudy's going to have to play a bit more aggressively to try to catch up. So it's, an interesting dynamic that we all experience all the time with in backgammon matches. And here we are. We've got that disparate score. They each have different motivational factors and how to play the game from this point. Okay, Roberto may bring that back checker up and leave a single shot and try to, there it is. If he can avoid getting hit here, then he's in another commanding position. Got an 8-pip lead. Oh, here we go. Rudy's in that situation where he's, he's pushing the envelope here because he is way down. He pushes it. Roberto has the easy take. Rudy misses, and, here we are. 16, 14 pip deficit. So, Rudy's going to have to count on some dice now in this game to just roll out of this thing. And of course, with the 2 cube over here, he's looking at a 10-2 deficit unless he does get some dice. So again, you get in that situation where you kind of feel like you have to stop the bleeding, you have to make a move, you have to be aggressive, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And so far in this match, it hasn't worked. And excuse me. And everything seems to be going Roberto's way. He can do nothing wrong, and the dice aren't allowing him to do anything wrong necessarily. So, and certainly a good player such as Roberto, given good dice, it's a tall order to defeat him. He's good enough with even dice. So now he's just got to try to be careful. He's down to a 10 pip lead, so Rudy's cut into that a bit. So Roberto just needs to try to be judicious and careful so as to minimize his chances of leaving, having to leave a shot. That's why he kept the even number outside, and there's the double 6. Had he not kept the even number outside, he would have blotted there. Double 3s. Rudy can't move the 3s. It's just... man, this is like a ever increasing size snowball rolling downhill. Okay, perhaps come off the 6. I would, just to keep it even on the back. But 4-1, there Rudy goes. 3-1, make the point, and man, this is brutal. We've all been there. Nothing you can do about it except try to regroup in the next game and get back into it. Roberto's considering, do I cash this? Do I have a chance, putting a 4 cube over there, something going crazy, and I get an 8 cube back at me? He's just going to play it a little conservatively at this point. Don't take any chances. He can cash it now much more easily, without any immediate risk of leaving a shot. 3-1. Okay, he's going to probably clear the 4 at this point, but yeah, so now he has to cash, make him pay to see him roll that 6-2. And Rudy, of course, isn't going to pay that kind of freight. So 10-2 Roberto, here we go, 2-1. Rudy plays the aggressive, slotting the 5, bringing it down to the 11. There's a very nice return, the double 3s. Roberto's going to come down and step up, probably. And he makes the 5. Some people would have made the 10 as well as stepping up. Rudy got to make his 5, then the 3. What do we do? He chooses to stack it on the 8. Roberto's going to make the 4. And, man, Rudy's struggling here with the dice. And Roberto's, great player, taking advantage of it. And, wow, another set of 3s. Like I say, backgammon's the cruelest game, and we're witnessing its cruelty tonight. It's interesting. You get into games like this, and I don't think Rudy has played particularly poorly or anything. He's just, Roberto's playing well with rolls he's given, and the rolls he's given are great. And Rudy can't get anything in reply, and here we sit at 10-2. So we've all been on both sides of the table of this kind of game, and we know that helpless feeling that Rudy has right now, and that kind of an invincible feeling of, geez, this is great that Roberto has right now. But you know, it is backgammon. It can turn on a dime. So let's see if you know, Rudy can turn this around, or if Roberto can just keep it up and bring it home. You know, it's interesting. I mean, I have my laptop here. I hope that we might get into some really crucial, critical decisions that take, you know, have a lot of influence on the course of the game, and maybe takes them a lot of time. And I would have time to, you know, enter it into XG and see what the computer says and what. But it's just been so crazy so far. I mean, there's just they're not there. Now there's a 6-6 for Rudy that, you know, but he's down what 41 pips going into that, so he's still going to be down 17. So oh, and there's the nickels, and just you know, it's it's a sad deal. We've all been there. I mean, I can laugh. I've been there a lot lately. And maybe that's because of the dice, and maybe I compound it with my play sometimes. But here we are, 11-2. Roberto gets the nice 3-1 to make the 5. Rudy gets a decent response for a change, double threes. And again, Roberto's kind of in that a little bit of an awkwardness of sorts that, you know, he just wants to bring this match home. So you know, he doesn't want to play very loose at all. He just wants to bring it on. Okay, here we go. Rudy said, we got to make something happen here. So there he rolls it. He can hit the slot on the 4. And okay, so he may have the 4-point board after this. Roberto's got to find a 5. There's a 5. Rudy can't cover the 4. There's a 3. So best laid plans. It's a 4 in return. Can he do with that? He can hit 2 inside. Just go for the gusto. It's this game or die. He's gonna go 1-6. So Roberto's got to find what he can do with the 6. Which 6 does he choose? Now that's a nice roll for Rudy. Finally, he can hit. He can cover the point. You know, he's in a very strong G position now, and 4 points goes a long way to getting him back into the match. Killer 2-6 from the bar. Where's Ray when you need him? Huh? So it looked like it might be you know, really a good position for Rudy to get a gammon here. He gets Roberto gets 2-6 from the bar. It's not to say that Rudy doesn't still have a commanding position. He's got to decide what he's going to do with his 3-2 though, and Roberto has a lot of ammo bearing on those inside points. Okay, what do we do here? Roberto can come out and make the 8. Roberto can make the bar, but that leaves 2 blots to a 4-point board. Okay, here we go. He plays it 6-1. He's going to make the bar, and this may be it, folks. It's going to come out, tidy up a little bit. You can make the 4. Wow, come out and hit the second checker. So now at best, Rudy's going to have a, you know, deuce point holding game without much timing. Although he's got 2 in the air, so maybe he does develop a bit of timing. But you know, not the position you want to be in, trailing 2 away. You know, it's funny. I mean, backgammon's a game. It's a dice game, so there's a lot of skill. There's a lot of luck, and some days you're lucky, some days you aren't. Uh, Rudy's had a good run of great play, some good dice to get to the final. Roberto has as well. Tonight, it's Roberto's night, so kudos to him. It's going to be very, very difficult for Rudy to recover from this position and extend the match. What he hopes to do is stay up, hold that timing. He comes in. If he doesn't roll a 6 next roll, he starts to crunch. So, it's a perfect bad storm right now for Rudy. Roberto can button them all up if he wants to. I suspect he comes to the 5 and maybe the 9, but there it is. 6s for Rudy, which doesn't really accomplish much. He'd just as soon not burn 24 pips right now. He could, another big roll. He could get into a, forced exit problem from the 2-point. Six three. He can clear the bar and worry about the 7 shot. There it is. Brings it in. So now he's several rolls from a potential damaging roll and several rolls from just winning this match. So kind of a forced play there, double 3s. So we're down to the last roll or 2 where anything can go wrong for Roberto here. Next roll, Rudy's leaving or is crunching. Roberto's just play it easy, play it safe. Probably maybe takes 2 off and has 3 checkers working on that deuce point when Rudy leaves here. No, he plays it conservatively the other way. 4-2, there it goes, 2-1, make the point. Wow. Most unlikely to, there's the 6th, match is over, folks. Less than 35 minutes or so. Wow. I suspect we're going to see, very well played by Roberto. It's a relatively easy game. With all the dice, I'm not sure how Rudy would have. I think he played well, but the luck factor is going to be off the charts, perhaps. But anyway, congratulations, Roberto Litzenberger, 2021 Malcolm Davis Longhorn Classic Masters champion. He played 4.72, which is a very respectable score. Rudy at 5.42, and then you can look at that luck rating, differential of over 8. So in XG, it's probably an 8+ luck factor, which I don't care who you're playing or how you're playing, it's all but impossible to win against +8. So anyway, great match. Again, congratulations to these guys. We appreciate them participating in our event. Both are to be rewarded for or congratulated for reaching this point. And again, the 2021 Malcolm Davis Longhorn Classic Masters jackpot winner is Roberto Litzenberger, and he'll be the 9th recipient of this Longhorn figurine, Texas Longhorn Steer bronze figurine. And hope you enjoyed it. I did. I'm sure Roberto did. Rudy, unfortunately, was on the wrong side of the match this time. But Rudy's won a lot of things. He'll have his day. He's won one of our championship brackets here in the Texas tournament already, so he'll be in the championship playoff on Sunday. So he still yet may collect well on this tournament. And of course, being the finalist in the Longhorn is quite an accomplishment in itself. So thank you for watching. Thank you, for supporting these players, for supporting Tara and myself, Nays Point Backgammon, and the Texas Backgammon Championships. Good night.